We will be talking about the medieval period, from 500 AD to 1300, and its literature, including common characteristics and stylistic features. We will also discuss some of the more important historical events that influenced the literature of the time, and how the literature developed due to the introduction of Christianity, as well as how the role of the women began to change during these times.
England and the Middle Ages are quite hard to define, since first of all, England was not one country after the Romans left them around 450 AD, and second of all, the Middle Ages is also quite hard to define, since they started around the time the Romans left, but it's no hard year, and also at the same time as the Romans left, the Angles and the Saxons, which were Germanic tribes, came and invaded England and or parts of England and parts of Britannia and the British Isles. And as they conquered England, England was split into 7 smaller kingdoms, and Wales and Scotland were never invaded or even touched by the Romans nor the Anglo-Saxons. Soon after the arrival of the Anglo-Saxons in the 500 AD, Christianity began to spread through the British Isles. The first Christian English king ever recorded died in 616 AD, and the first Christian king of the northern part of England and the parts that are closer to Scotland was crowned in 627 AD. Soon after the arrival of Christianity, however, a new threat appeared from the north, as the Vikings began to raid the shores of the British Isles. The Viking conquered parts of England, and so their language began to spread through England, and the language that was once spoken changed for the better or the worse. Later on, after the Vikings were driven out of England in 954 AD, the Norman conquest of England occurred. In 1066 AD, the Normans conquered parts of England and defeated the English army, and so William the Conqueror, who was the leader of the Norman, became the new king. After the Norman conquest of England in 1066, a new language began to spread through the upper classes of the society. As the ruling classes began speaking French, the normal English people didn't understand what they were saying. They kept the old English that had been there before the conquest, but slowly over time the two languages began to merge, and the new language that appeared would be a new, more recognizable English, which was also influenced by the language of the Vikings who had invaded England 200 years earlier. With the introduction of Christianity to England, the language changed as well as the literature. Most people could not write during this time, but the monks who came and taught about Christianity to the normal people could, and they documented most of the stories that were told from person to person during this time. Another thing they did was to bring with them the Word of God and the Bible, but as most people could not read Latin or any other language for that matter, they could not understand the Bible, and so stories were made to explain Christianity and the Word of God for the normal people.
Created using Powtoon.